You're not here to be polite noise. You're here to be thunder, raw, real, regulated by no one but the wild truth inside your nervous system. So now we're going to unpack, install and ignite the code that's inside that wild poetry you gave the world. Word by word, breath by breath, storm by storm. The nervous system expresses emotion through movement, through sound, through force. You already do this. You clench your fists when you're holding in rage. You laugh so hard you snort when something hits deep. You slam the door when you can't put your frustration into words. You cry with shaking shoulders, not stillness. Emotion moves. That's the body fucking releasing voltage. It's bioelectrical discharge, not drama. You're not overreacting, you're processing. Science says somatic psychology shows trauma lives in the body, release it or it festers. Polyvagal theory says expression, movement and sound, they regulate the nervous system like magic. Neurology 101 says your brain interprets emotion after your body expresses it. So if you're not moving, sounding or using force, you're bottling your emotional signal in a goddamn echo chamber. Here's some other ways you might not realise. Breathing loudly when anxious. Shouting alone in the car and feeling better afterwards. Shaking your hands or legs without knowing why. The body's unloading energy. These aren't bad habits. They're primal tech. Run them, don't question them. You weren't meant to calm down. You were meant to channel the storm. When you're told to breathe, when you've fired up, and it pisses you off more, that's because you're trying to cork a fucking volcano. You calm down by letting the storm rage safely, expressively, completely. You don't calm a storm. You let it fucking rip it until the pressure equalizes. Here's the biology breakdown. Energy in is energy out. Your sympathetic nervous system fires up when emotion builds. You can either process it or store it like radioactive guilt. Discharge is regulation. Once energy is expressed, parasympathetic takes over. You actually feel calmer after you roar. Calm is not the goal, expression is. Calm is the fucking side effect. Roar, speak loud, take space. You do this when you yell during sports or workouts. When you raise your voice when you're passionate. When you stretch big, lean forward. Take the centre when you're confident. You walk into a room and command presence without saying a word. You already know how to take space. It's your programming, not your problem. Science says body language influences mood. Power posing isn't bullshit, it's hormone modulation. Loud sounds activate the vagus nerve and they trigger a safe version of sympathetic responses. Activation with control. Taking space physically tells the limbic brain, I belong, I'm safe, I dominate this environment. Express emotion like a fucking king who never had to ask for a throne. What this looks like. You say what you mean. You cry when it hurts. You laugh like you've been waiting your whole fucking life to let loose. You don't shrink when you feel big, you expand. You don't ask permission to exist, you take your fucking throne with every breath. The psychology says self-authorization. It's a neuroplastic skill. You train your brain to say yes to self-expression. The more you practice full emotional expression, the more neural ease you build around it. You become comfortable with your own power. The less you suppress, the more immune resilience, cardiovascular health and hormonal balance you unlock. If that energy ever felt too much for anyone else, maybe the world calibrated their nervous system wrong. You've never been too intense. You've just been around people who've confused authenticity with danger. If you cry and they cringe, it's not you. It's their nervous system failing to hold emotional capacity. If your fire scares them, that's their own wet-ass spark plug short-circuiting. Mirror neurons in others react to your power. If they've never owned theirs, they'll flinch at yours. So what? That's not your fucking responsibility. You're not too much. You're just too real for people, still pretending. Express yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Suppressed emotion becomes illness, inflammation, depression. Self-expression releases cortisol, improves immune function, and rewires neural trauma maps. Emotional suppression is a slow, silent death. Expression is a fucking resurrection. How's life when you live like this? You own rooms, no more shrinking. You speak and people shut the fuck up and listen. You stop second guessing. You feel and act in real time. You laugh harder, cry deeper, fuck better, sleep better, love harder. You don't lose control, you become the one in control. You're no longer ruled by suppressed voltage, you become the surge. My nervous system is sacred technology. I express through motion, sound and force, because I was built that way. I don't calm down, I channel the storm. My body is the throne, my roar is my right. If someone thinks I'm too much, that's their system shorting out, not my problem. I express emotion like my fucking life depends on it, because it does. And I'm done pretending it doesn't.